TheJbeans.net.
Saint John, New Brunswick is a port we've visited a few times over the years, and we've enjoyed our time exploring the city during each visit. During our most recent visit in August 2025, our ship, the Majestic Princess, once again docked at the Marco Polo Cruise Terminal. In this video, we'll share everything we did while spending our day in Uptown Saint John, taking advantage of the area's walkability and close proximity to our ship. Just a quick note that if you enjoy this video, please give us a thumbs up or leave a comment. It really helps our channel. And consider subscribing so you get alerted when we add new videos. It's important to not confuse Saint John, New Brunswick with Saint John's, Newfoundland, which is located in a different part of Canada and in a different time zone. It's also worth noting that everything we explored in Saint John was located within easy walking distance of the city's 3 cruise terminals. After our ship was docked, we disembarked into the cruise terminal building. While we covered the cruise terminal in more detail in our previous video about Saint John, we still want to highlight the terminal's information booth once again. The booth was staffed by friendly local volunteers who were more than happy to answer questions, share suggestions, and welcome visitors to Saint John. We spent quite a bit of time talking with them and learned a lot about their wonderful city. In addition to the helpful volunteers, the information booth also had displays that provided times for the day's high tide, slack tide, and low tide. Since the tides play such an important role in the waterfront experience in Saint John, the info made it much easier to plan our day. Leaving the terminal, we walked through the shops and eateries at the Area 506 Waterfront Container Village, then continued walking along Water Street toward the nearby waterfront. At the intersection with Princess Street, we found the waterfront walkway that was part of the public space, officially called Ihtoli-maqahamok, which translates to the gathering space. The walkway surrounded a new development known as Fundy Quay, which was still under construction during our visit. To keep things simple, we'll refer to the entire area as the waterfront. We continued following the paved waterfront walkway, which offered plenty of seating along the way and great views of the harbor. At the first bend in the walkway, we stopped to take a photo with our ship in the background. It was also a great opportunity to take a photo of our ship just after high tide, so we could later compare it to the same view at low tide. Continuing along the waterfront, we made our way to the market slip. During our visit, high tide occurred at 8:40 a.m., and we reached the market slip about an hour and a half after that, so the water had already started to go down. The timing worked out especially well since low tide was not until 2:47 p.m., which was roughly 6 hours after high tide. This made it easy to see the full change in the water level over the course of the day. Ihtoli-maqahamok, or the Gathering Space, officially opened a year earlier in the summer of 2024. During our visit, it still looked and felt very new. However, the area was fairly quiet since we were visiting on a Monday morning, and it also happened to be the New Brunswick Day holiday. When we returned later in the afternoon, everything was noticeably more active, with more people enjoying the space. From the waterfront, we continued through the nearby Market Square and crossed the skywalk to Brunswick Square Mall. Because of the holiday, most businesses were closed, including the Tim Hortons we visited during our previous trip. We walked through Brunswick Square and continued to the Saint John City Market. Inside, we returned to Jeremiah's Deli to pick up a butter tart and a lemon tart, since Daddy Bean enjoyed them so much during our last visit. Heading back toward the ship, we made a couple of coffee stops for a quick pick-me-up. We stopped at Tim Hortons on King Street for a few small coffees and some Timbits. We then returned to Java Moose on Prince William Street for a couple more drinks, including a fresh canned sweetened iced coffee with vanilla cold foam. The drinks and snacks were tasty and gave us a nice boost before returning to the ship. Continuing our walk back toward the cruise terminal, we stopped at the Beaver Tails food stand in Area 506. We ordered a classic cinnamon and sugar beaver tail, which made for a great snack before heading back toward the ship. Just like our last visit, Area 506 stood out as a very convenient spot right next to the cruise terminal. With several restaurants, food vendors, and shops available, it was an easy place to grab something to eat or pick up a few souvenirs before heading back to the ship. After returning to the ship and spending a couple of hours relaxing, we headed back out so we could see the low tide at the market slip. Along the way, we stopped to take another photo of our ship to give us a clear comparison of the tide with the photo we took earlier in the day. We made it to the slip right at low tide, and the change in water level was even more obvious than what we saw at our ship. In fact, compared to earlier in the day, the difference was very dramatic. During our earlier stop, about half of the tidal steps were underwater. However, at low tide, all of the steps were fully visible, and the water had dropped far enough that you could walk on some of the bottom of the slip. Walking into the slip area really highlighted just how much the tide had lowered, since we had to look up quite a bit above our heads to see the high tide line. We spent some time exploring the area, including checking out the inscriptions that marked the king tide and mean tide levels. We also took a break to relax on some of the built-in seating to enjoy the view. Before returning to our ship, we made one more stop at Beaver Tails in Area 506 to enjoy some poutine. The combination of fries, cheese curds, and gravy was a filling and very Canadian way to end our day. Even though there were fewer things open because of the holiday, we still thoroughly enjoyed our visit to Saint John. Walking along the waterfront, seeing the dramatic change in the tides, talking with locals, and enjoying some classic Canadian food made for a very relaxed and memorable day in port.